think the change definitely has to start with us. You know, it's difficult to tell someone when they're 50, when they're 60, and getting into their older ages that how they've been brought up isn't exactly completely right. Obviously, there's some merit to a few things they brought up, but how they came up isn't how we can move forward. And there needs to be some sort of shifting and change in mentality. Obviously, they can always learn, but it's difficult to teach someone who doesn't want to be taught. So the change definitely starts with us. How we go about that change is difficult though. It is very difficult. I don't think, like, it's difficult for us as a generation to look up at the people who've done it before us and say, look, here's how you do it. It's a tough thing to say, it's a tough thing to hear, but I think if we keep moving in the direction we're going in and developing our own world, eventually.
Hello. Welcome back to Me Versus Me. I'm Patrick Kinzonzi.
I'm Herman Madimba.
Yes, so we're basically going to speak to you about a topic that's going to be coming up very soon, basically for the month of April, which is basically bridging the gap. Now, we're emphasizing on the fact that there tends to be a gap sometimes between the extremely young generation and the older generation. And when I say that, I'm speaking specifically of people from cultural background, whether it be Africa, Asia, Arabs, Eastern Europeans. So some of us who migrated into this country at a young age, came very young, came with our parents. Somehow, in some cases rather, the parents didn't necessarily adapt or adopt the culture of the country that they currently reside in. And they've stayed in that state for decades at times, which now leaves the younger generation to kind of grow up and figure out things for themselves to a certain degree. Now, bearing in mind, I'm not saying that they didn't carry over any principles from where they came from. I mean, principles, the values, which are very useful. However, when you come into a new place, into a new environment, it's very important to pay attention to how things function. To how the systems are very different. So if you try and come into a new environment by using old systems or different systems into a new one, it's not necessarily going to work. And what tends to happen sometimes is there's frustration that's built, and then there's a gap that's automatically formed. What I admire about the younger generation is the drive that they have, which I believe a lot of the times is the reason why they get frustrated and they become frustrated, and then it eventually leads to them rebelling sometimes or searching for something more than what they're seeing around them. However, sometimes it just happens that they use other means in order to get it. Whether sometimes it is going outside and doing other things that's illegal in order to generate funds, to accumulate funds in order to help the household. Now, I'm not saying that taking that route is the right way. However, what I'm saying is what they're actually trying to achieve is positive, which is some form of stability.
What's positive about selling drugs?
No, hold on. What they're trying to achieve.
Okay, what they're trying to achieve?
Is stability. The means that they're using is what's wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, it just happens that you cut me. Yeah, I don't agree with selling drugs. I don't agree with joining gangs either. What I try to do is understand the reason why people do what they do, as opposed to just being quick to point out and say, you're wrong, how can you do this? Yeah, I'm a firm believer in purpose, reason behind an action, as opposed to just doing it. In the same way, certain people will do good things. For example, certain people will enter relationships just because they want to be with someone, just because they don't want to be alone. Now, is that necessarily the best reason to enter a relationship? No, not necessarily. So purpose is more important, because that will determine longevity, that will determine how long or how effective you'll be once you actually reach the destination that you're at. You could get somewhere, but then once you get there, you realize that you're not really equipped with the right tools in order to sustain where you actually are. So, with that being said, that's why I believe that there has to be a rapport between the older generation and the younger generation. It has to be that. And I believe that sometimes the cultural clash prevents that, where we come in and we impose traditions, we impose cultures in a new culture and expect it to function the exact same way. But what we don't understand is we're in a totally different system. What works back in that country isn't going to work over here. Yes, you may be an elder, etc. Yes, an elder should be respected in a certain type of way, but you have to understand that it's not the same thing everywhere. So, where now we've had gaps between generations.
Yeah.
And that's gone on for years. Some have decided to develop a sense of independence. Now, independence is good, but it's a matter of how independent you become. If you become so independent that you're no longer speaking to those around you because you feel like you're alone, you feel like they're not going to understand you, you feel like you can't share your goals or visions with them because they're going to criticize you, because your goals, your ambitions, and your visions is going to be frowned on based on the tradition that you come from. If you have a vision to pursue a career in music or in art, it's going to be frowned on because according to them, that's not going to get you nowhere. What's music going to get you? What are you going to do? Become a dancer for the rest of your life? Who's going to take it seriously? You'll hear things like that. And that's caused some young people to shut off completely and not want to share their goals and ambitions with their parents or whatnot. So they're going to search for that elsewhere. They're going to find someone who's actually going to listen to them. They're going to find someone who actually takes an interest in what they're doing. And it just so happens sometimes that the people that are available, that are willing to listen to them, are people who are not living the most legitimate lifestyle. However, those people are willing to listen to them. Those people are taking an interest in them, and maybe even put a little bit of change in their pocket. And some have been caught up with that because now those individuals also want something in return. And that's how some have ended up being recruited in gangs, etc. So then it creates a negative cycle, rather, should I say. So now, the main cause for this is because there's a huge gap. People could be living in the same household, but they are miles apart in terms of mindset, in terms of view, in terms of vision. So externally, they're in the same place, but internally, they're not living there. So how important is it for this gap to be bridged?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great point you made, you know, and first of all, I would say that now more than ever, it's important for the older generation to understand the younger generation,
right?
Because of how the world is, you know, because it's easy now for, we're talking about this culture thing. If you are not careful, well, I can't even say if you're not careful because it's happening already,
right?
You know, forget even just about saying the streets are going to raise kids. Sometimes it's just negative friends, but it doesn't mean they're doing criminal activity. It could just be they just get up to no good. Just get up to no good, as in just lazing around, going out, getting, you know, sleeping around, getting blasted, whatever. But they don't do nothing criminal at all. You know, that alone is a culture that's being created. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, so it's not just all the time. We should focus on the extreme, like the drugs, the crimes, and that, which is part of it. Right, so you know. But there's also another bit, again, which you're right. You know, if the older generation is refusing to listen or refusing to take an interest, guess what? They're gonna find a gang of friends. And when I talk about gang again, I'm not talking about in the criminal sense. You know. I'm talking about in a social sense. Because people want to be listened to. You know, that's why even, I mean, think about it. Even some of our elders, some of the older generation, don't they have their own social groups that they go to? You know, every culture has that. You know, here you have people that go bowling. That's how they meet. They have social club. This is where they meet. You know, our tradition, our African tradition or the Asian traditions, they have their own social groups as well, where they meet. You know, so that's the own social culture, social group as well. So how about the younger ones now? Of course, they're gonna go where they are listened to, where they feel welcomed. You know, and I think the older generation has to make more of an effort, to really take an interest. Because again, look, right now the internet can raise people's children. The internet, Instagram, Facebook, all these nonsense you see.
Really. And it's so accessible now as well.
It's so accessible. Think about it. You know, I don't. young guys and girls, they don't even need to go out anymore to find friends. Even they could just stay on Insta.
Online, yeah.
Yeah. And even get some messed up ideas off Instagram.
Yeah.
Is that how people even commit suicide or get into depression? Or drink this, drink that, take this, take that, and they're just there, but they've completely shut off. So taking an interest is not saying, oh, why haven't you done your homework?
Yeah.
Why haven't you been in college?
Yeah.
We know you should do this. If you don't do this, you're going to mess up. Yes, all those things are true. But take a genuine interest in terms of like spending time with them.
Yeah.
Me, I always say this, before we start pointing the blame, let's ask ourselves, have I made an effort? If as a parent or an elder brother and uncle, you've made an effort, yeah, and and even the younger person can recognize that you've made an effort and they still want to go and mess up, then it's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Then they have decided that you've given them your wisdom,
right.
But they say that, sorry, I understand that wisdom, but what I have I think is better.
Yeah.
Then the blame is on them.
Yeah.
But I think it's too many times here, the older generation does not want to take an interest,
Yeah.
Don't just brush things off. I don't understand this Instagram stuff. I don't understand. I don't understand the career you want to do. I don't understand the course you want to study. Well, if you don't understand, guess what? You ask.
Yeah, you ask. Yeah.
If you don't ask questions, you don't get answer.
Yeah.
So ask them and don't say, "Oh, you're lying. Are you sure it's true?" No. Come on now. You see what I mean? Give them a chance.
Yeah.
Because they are their own individuals. No matter what, everyone is their own individual. Everyone has their own qualities as individual. So what we're supposed to do is to bring the best out of them, not bring the worst out of them.
Yeah.
So you take an interest. Okay, what is it about this course that is good? What are the job prospects?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Then how do you want me to help you? I'm not able to help you with your homework or whatever, but how do you want me to help you? Is it to do with equipment? Is it laptop? Is it camera? Is it whatever? I mean, the world we live in now, everything is electronic anyway. So take an interest that way. How could I invest in your destiny? That's the most important thing. How do I invest? Because you said something important. Because if you refuse to, even do these little things like investing in them, guess what? They're gonna find it elsewhere.
They're gonna go elsewhere.
They're gonna find it elsewhere, and that's how they go to little criminal activities, even little things like credit card scams, and I mean, how do you think people get scammed these days on social media through these quick money schemes? That's how people get scammed. Oh, give me 200, you get 5,000 pounds back. Yeah, right. But because people want quick money, there's such a desperation out there, So the elder generation, I think they gotta make more of an effort. Don't say, oh, I don't understand English like you, so that's for you guys. Fine. Don't see already you're pushing, you're pushing the person off. Because if you're saying to your kids that, I don't understand, you go and do it. Then for me, you've lost some kind of right now to question the decision. I was saying for me, you kind of lost the right now to question the decision on that particular matter. I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the parents, but you kind of lost. You've lost a bit of, you've lost a bit of value there, because they're going to be like, well, you're not interested in what I'm doing, So there has to be more of an effort, especially nowadays. The times that we live in now, it is so quick to listen. For me, it would be extremely foolish and ignorant to say that I won't take an interest in what my kids are doing, But at the same time, I'm gonna keep on telling them off and or whatever.
Yeah.
Listen, it's so quick to go the other way.
Yeah.
Because of the negative influences out there, it is so quick to go the other way, And people are going the other way so quickly. People are looking for. I mean, it's just about listening to somebody. That's all, And sometimes also unhappiness is what can make people go into some of these gangs as well, Unhappiness can make people want to go and do things that they don't even like doing. Drinking all the time, or even taking drugs. These are the little things that just lead you onto the wrong path. All it takes is just one wrong move, or for them to encounter the wrong group of friends.
Right.
But as long as they are being listened to,
right.
Listening is the most important. We have to understand that the average human being, they love to be listened to.
Right.
They're always going to find someone that's going to listen to their issues. So it's so important, because they could have somebody online that could give them such wrong advice. So the elder generation, again, it sounds like a broken record, but more needs to be done, because the kids, the young ones of today, it's not like in now times, This is a quick microwave generation, they could find alternatives very, very quickly, and some of these alternatives, it won't be to the good long term.
Yeah.
But they don't see that, they don't see that because there's at times also they be busy to being stubborn to the parents because they're thinking, well, if I speak to you, you're not going to listen. All you're going to do is tell me off, So then they're going to continue down that wrong path, And even if deep down they know it's wrong, but they be like, no, I will not listen to whoever is raising me, So you've got to come down to the level, whilst giving them the wisdom, whilst giving them the advice, Look, this is why it's wrong. This is why it's right. It's up to you not to choose the road, but I'm not here to tell you off. But I'm here to advise you and guide you. And if you do mess up here, I will tell you off. But when I tell you off, you will know why I told you off.
Yeah.
You will know why I told you off. Because at the end of the day, you can't lose your authority as a parent. No chance.
Yeah,
that one, abuse, you can't do that.
And that's why I was going back to the point before, like the purpose behind what you're actually doing. If I'm telling you off, I'm telling you off because as opposed to just I tell you off, do this, do that, to the point where it just becomes a dictatorship. And when it's dictatorship, there's no longer a relationship. So what happens is now you have a fear of the individual as opposed to a level of reverence for the individual.
But it's not good to have that fear as well, though.
It depends. Like, if you just, why fear? Because there's nothing...
Because you won't step over the line, innit?
No, that's what I'm saying. There should be reverence and respect. When there's respect, when there's reverence, and when there's loyalty, you're not going to want to step over that line, Because fear is actually negative. Fear is actually means danger. Don't go there, or else. So it's a place that you shouldn't
the slap
go
is
to.
coming.
So if it comes, it's as a form of discipline. So however you choose. Now here, we're not here to promote putting your hands on kids, by the way, just in case they try and make any complaints.
Don't try.
That's not what I'm saying. However, what I'm saying is, if that happens, it should be followed up with a reason as to why. So that there's understanding. I know a certain individual who just grew up fearing their parents.
Listen,
man. Unhealthy. Some who fear so much that sometimes they would, wet themselves. Or if they're hearing their siblings getting disciplined, whatnot.
Ah, man, I got stories, man.
They, just the sounds of hearing their siblings getting beats and they start shaking, and then they wet themselves, even though it had nothing to do with them. But it's like, okay.
That's
even
pretty
asking for
traumatic,
anything, they might be in a bad mood right now. I could just say, hi, mom, hi, dad, and then conk in my head is on. What do you want? So that's why it's absolutely necessary for that gap to be bridged. Now, my question is, how does it get bridged, and who is to make that first step? Is it the older generation or is the younger generation?
I think the older generation, because like I said, for me,
will they do it though? In terms of their mindset, because their mind is pretty much set. So, yes, they're older. Yes, because they're older, they should. However, will they? Or is it down to the ones who actually understand the importance of bridging the gap? Should it be them? So, to me, I don't know, but it seems as though maybe the younger need to make that first step because the younger ones actually understand it. Even though the burden shouldn't be placed on them. But because they understand it, what would you rather, someone who understands why to do it or someone who's stuck in their ways? Wait for 50, 80 years and there's still no change. Just because you're supposed to do it, I'm going to wait. But they don't understand it, they're stuck in their ways. And sometimes, when people's minds are set, they actually need to see it to believe it. It's unfortunate.
It's very true.
But they have to see it work. And sometimes they need to see it work 3 times before they actually say, okay, you know what? You're right.
You're right.
And at times, they might be on their hospital bed with about maybe 2 weeks left to live before they actually say, you know what?
True that.
You're correct. I wish I would have, but I'm glad I saw you do this. Now I can go and rest peacefully and happy. So, without a doubt, bridging this gap, I mean,
that's a good point.
Every generation, a rapport with your people is extremely important because, like you said, if they don't have it there, they're going to search for it elsewhere. No man is an island. Everyone needs someone. Just like in relationships sometimes, if you're not treating your woman right, you're not listening to her, she's going to go elsewhere to be listened to. And you know what that can cause. As a man, if your woman's not listening to you, if you're telling her your dreams or whatnot, she's like, oh, yeah, whatever. Oh, are you still pursuing that again or whatnot? You're going to come away from her naturally and want to be around someone who actually understands your language. When I say language, not literal language, but understands your goals.
It's how human beings are, isn't it?
Not necessarily to say that it's going to be another woman, but just a friend.
Human beings
could be a motivational speaker that you watch on YouTube, that's now going to take up most of your time now, because it's like, okay, you know what? I feel alive when I'm around this individual. I feel alive when I'm listening to this individual. I feel alive when I'm around this different environment, which I can actually be myself, express myself, as opposed to keep quiet, keep shut, or sometimes even sneak out just to be myself. And when I say be myself, not to go out and do anything negative, but sneaking out in order to be positive, in order to do something that's actually gonna lead to growth and development and impact people in a negative way. However, you can't do that. Why? Because the environment that you're surrounded by, it's almost like a taboo or wrong or disrespectful to even express your interest in something that your culture or tradition doesn't necessarily approve of, only because they don't understand it.
No, you're right. I mean, and you made a very good point about the younger generation making the first move. That's actually true, because I believe they can make the first move in telling, whoever's raising them, whether the dad, the mom, the uncle, the auntie, that okay, this is why I want you to understand what I'm doing. Not say that okay, you should make the first move. No, tell them why they should have an interest.
Right.
Because when you speak like that with wisdom, they're going to look silly. They're going to be like, actually, this is what I should do. That alone can immediately, it can just, cut through the tension or whatever.
Right.
And if they're wise enough, those words are going to burn them. And the truth is going to be like, actually, okay, thank you for telling me. They're actually going to respect you more for telling them. They might not tell you. Some of them could still be proud. Okay, I'll listen. Okay, don't worry. Then you might tell them 1 week to come, and some of them they've got that pride in it.
Yeah.
But they'll come and eventually, because why? They've listened. Not you telling them no, listen to me for once. No, but this is why I believe you should listen. And you just open your ears, and guess what? Most of the things they say is going to make sense. And you mentioned something about danger, the atmosphere. That is so good. Do you know why? Because it's so good to create the right atmosphere also. It's so good to create the right environment in your home. That is so important. I mean, okay, both of us are Africans. You've been in those environments, You've been in those, with uncles or parents or dads or whatever. I mean, in an African community, the dad's brother can even smack you. Nobody can. Free for all, man. If you mess up, they're all going to get you. So we've been in this environment, where the atmosphere is like, it's so thick, that boy.
Yeah.
If you make the wrong move, that's it, And just like you said, that alone, it creates the wrong kind of fear. The wrong kind of fear, where you're going to be like a hypocrite now. You will not be yourself. So you're not going to want to be yourself, because you know that if I make a move, I'm going to get smacked, because they said I shouldn't do this. If when the atmosphere is so extreme, it reduces you, it shrinks you.
Right.
You know. So and sometimes when you grow up with that, and when you get older,
low self-esteem.
And you begin to resent the parents as well.
Yeah.
Because when you get older, you be like, no, I'm not listening to you anymore. And that now creates a friction, because the right atmosphere was not created, I was watching, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo for his birthday.
Right.
I was watching a clip of his kids.
Yeah.
They were asking his kids, what is the great thing about your dad? And both of his sons said that, like when he walks in the room lights up.
Right.
The atmosphere. And I think that is so good for kids to say that about their parents, and that's how we are supposed to be. When you create that atmosphere where, they are looking forward to you being there because they know that you understand them. When the atmosphere is so good that even the other uncles are going to be like, but why don't you smack your kids? How come they're always happy around you? Yeah, that's because because I give them that respect. No, you shouldn't do that. You give them too much rope. No, they're holding on too much. Well, but it's working.
Right.
It's working. And when you grow up in the environment, as you get older, guess what? You're going to be even closer to them. You're not going to be sharing things. Even when you mess up, you're going to go to them that, you know what, dad, uncle, mom, I've messed up. And then you're going to talk about it. They will tell you off, but you will talk about it. Why? Because the atmosphere is there. You've created that room that actually you can talk here. Because why you raise them in the first place? It's a two-way thing, But if it's like dictatorship all the way, so you see, when you create that kind of atmosphere where you now give the room for conversation. Yeah. So that's why it's conversation, because that's the whole point of raising. That's the whole point of raising, is to guide them, is to mentor them. I mean, I love to use the example of animals because I watch a lot of documentaries. When you watch like lions, for example, when they teach the babies how to hunt, you know, you just watch how they guide them. Sometimes they let them attack the prey. If they mess up, they come and they come and kill the prey, and then they show them. Is that kind of guidance that mentoring, and I really love that. The ways I compare it to parenting is that you've got to be able to give them that space, for them to grow. Not for you to say, hey, you've done this wrong, bam, you've done this wrong, bam. No, look. When you're gonna release the punishment or the telling off here, make sure they know why you're doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, let me use myself as an example. When the very few times, that my mom smacked me, I understood why. The very, very few times I understood why, because she don't like doing it. Right. You know, but when it was my dad, what you doing? It was just like, what have I done? You know, you ever done your homework? Or even before I start the homework already, you know? You know, but when it was my mom, I understood. I understood more, you know, and as I grew older, I will move closer more towards my mom in terms of telling us stuff, in terms of talking, and it continued till I was older. Yeah. I would share more things with her, you know. So because she created that room, and it's so important, you know, when you are raising the younger generation, always create that room. I'm not saying give them everything that they need, you know, but remember they're going to be old at one point. Because guess what? You see, when at times my dad would punish me, when I didn't think I would deserve it, do you know what I would say? I can't wait till I'm older. You watch what I do. I'll be planning when I get older. And guess what? When I did get older, one time he tried to ever go at me, I said, don't even try me like that. Don't try me. This is not going to work. And even the way I spoke, he knew that he couldn't step up to me. You know, it's not something I wanted to do, but I thought, okay, let me just throw something out there. You know, why? Because there was still that little resentment there, you know. But it's a what's it called? It's a complicated task here, but I think the early generation can make it more complicated by being as dictators all the time, especially when they reach a certain age. When they become like teenagers, 15, like from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, like be very, very careful, you know. Because if you keep on being a dictator at that age, which a lot of them still do in our culture, we know that. Trust me, they're going to get older at one point, and when they stop sharing things with you, you know, you got to ask yourself, okay, then what did I do wrong?
Right.
But it's not too late. Again, it is not too late, you know, because one thing I'll say again with the older generation, one thing that a lot of them don't know how to do is to say sorry as well. No, that's something that it's not too late to say, do you know what? I'm sorry, maybe I should have done this a bit more. So can we now start on that journey again? And I think they could be very receptive of that, you know, because that word sorry, boy, anyway. I can remember the amount of times I've heard that word.
Blank sheet of paper, that's how they apologize.
Huh?
They'll give a blank sheet of paper, they'll be like, here's my apology. You open it, blank sheet of paper, that's how they apologize.
or sometimes what my uncles do, my dad would do, sometimes they would just say, oh, okay, go buy this drink and buy yourself one as well. They're sorry. But to actually say sorry, but you see, all those things, looking back now, you can laugh about it, but going through it at times is not easy, you know, because some of these they can be very, very difficult and tough. It's not easy, especially when there's the sibling comparison, which a lot of them tend to do. That's when it becomes a bit, especially when they compare to the next house, you know. I had it done to me many times. Oh, what about so-and-so child? I'm like, do you don't know what I know about them. No. You should be like them. What can't you be like that? Look at you guys. You mess up, see? Look at this one, is at uni. You don't want to go there. I was like, hey, if only you knew.
Yeah, I remember my nephew threw that in my brother's face. Like, one of my nephews anyway, got in trouble. My brother used to get on his case and be like, "What can't you be like such and such, man? Good kid and that, you know. Now he's gonna get. Oh man, I wish he was like such and such a son. I wish that, you know, good kid and everything." Now that individual that he was comparing him to is in jail for murder. And then my knife feels like, see, Dad, you're saying that you wish I was like him. Look where he's at now. See, even though I was troublesome, but I turned my life around. I graduated, I'm a responsible father. But, the one he was comparing me to, he's in jail now. Prison to be precise. So sometimes we have to be very cautious with the comparisons. I know it's good to admire and to be inspired by other people.
But that comparison thing is so bad. I think it's bad.
There's got to be a healthy balance in terms of comparison.
I don't agree.
Enable someone else's success to influence you and inspire you, but not to the extent where you compare them and almost like, oh, you should have been like such and such.
I don't agree with that comparison thing. I don't agree with it at all. Again, if you do it to inspire, but a lot of the time it's always done it in a negative way, and 80% of the time, the person you compare them to down the line, they've messed up. I've seen it so many times. I could tell you the amount of times that one has happened to me. So that thing has happened so many times, and down the line, a lot of people in our community, they actually tell mom that they'll tell them that, oh, Isabel, you actually raise your son. Your son's good, They don't go to criminal activities. They're just there at home. They're always chilling. I'm like, Mom, you see, you want to say about us? And that's when I realized that actually, maybe I've got something good here at home. So the upliftment should be there.
Right.
The upliftment should be there. We got to be careful with the put downs. We've got to be careful with the put downs because what's it called? Again, I'm not saying spoil, but we treat them like they're future great. That's what you got to treat them. Treat them like that. And then when you do punish them, let them know. Listen, this is what I'm punishing you, man. Listen, you are a future great queen, a future great king. Put those words in them, Put those words in them so that when they mess up, they'll be like, oh, okay, I understand. Now, I have a great task ahead of me, You properly let them know. Listen, I don't want you to mess up, You're a future great person, So we need to do the upliftment more than this comparison thing. Because that thing doesn't work. Because why would you spend your time comparing where you could spend your time uplifting and spending time with them? That's the thing, spending time with them. You can't be sitting there at home, you watch the news, you don't get involved in their lives, and then the moment you hear that, he's messed up at school, at college, boom, you now come down hard. Okay, what role are you playing? What role are you playing? That's why I repeat again that if you've done all that and they're still going to mess up, that's on their own. That's because you've done everything. But I think that they can do so much more, and they can do it better as well. They can do it better as well because I wouldn't picture raising my son or my daughter and then I spend my time comparing them to such.
Exactly.
I don't know. There's 24 hours every day, so if I don't invest in them, I don't know. I just see that wrong. But a lot of us, our childhood, it's always been it's always been like, you guys, you kids, stay there. Even when you are old, kids, stay there. Okay, this one is just a joke. It's just for fun. Even. Okay, I don't know if you see it in African household or around you. Even when you want to get a certain plate when you're eating, don't touch that plate. That's what I got. Take the rubbish ones. You see,
not eat from those forks. Not that glass.
Things like that. I ain't do that.
And the glass that ain't been years and like it's been there for like 9
years.
Untouched.
It's there untouched. It's left untouched. You see things like that. Things like that for me, it says a lot. For me, things like that says a lot.
Okay, so that's what we're going to be discussing in terms of bridging the gap. So we're going to hold off there, and then the following week we're going to have some actually young people to actually speak from their own perspective and from their own experiences. So from me to you, I'm Patrick Kinzonzi.
I'm Herman Madimba.
And we'll catch you guys next time on Me vs. Me. Take care.
Bless.